Hello everyone and welcome back to Always Watching. Today I'm continuing my coverage of the Tribeca Film Festival with the film Happy Birthday. This is one of the best films I've seen at the festival and I really hope it makes its way to the Oscars. Briefly, Happy Birthday is a cruel coming-of-age story which follows Toha, a child maid employed by a wealthy family. Set in modern-day Egypt, the film explores the harsh realities of social hierarchy and the systemic violence that prevents those in lower classes from ever moving upward. The movie begins with Toha and what you assume is her sister Nellie waking up. However, as they slowly move throughout the day, we come to the very dark realization that Toha is a child maid. Toha lives with Layla, her daughter Nellie, and their grandmother. And I thought the movie balanced optimism and dread incredibly well. Toha is not treated badly, but she's treated differently. She's almost treated like a family cat that can cook and clean. Child labor is illegal in Egypt, however, it's pretty much impossible to crack down on. Because most of the movie takes place inside the home, you assume that the movie is set in some dystopian world where having a child maid is normal. The film does a fantastic job of slowly unpacking how this family's values is very far from those of Egyptian society. The film unfolds on Nellie's birthday as Toha devises a plan to convince her mother to throw her a birthday party. The family Toha is living with is struggling financially. It's implied that whatever they're paying Toha is a fraction of what they would be paying an adult maid. The birthday party becomes a way for Layla to possibly reconcile with her husband because they're separated. And reluctantly, Nellie's mother, Layla, agrees to the birthday party and takes Toha shopping. And it's not until we step into the outside world we realize how cruel and abnormal the whole situation really is. Because as you're watching the film, you're like, am I crazy? Or is that a child maid? And the film talks back to you. They're like, no, you're not crazy. This is crazy. Layla tries to conceal Toha's true identity, and she kind of does it in a way as to shield herself from guilt. She doesn't want Toha knowing that the whole thing is as abnormal and cruel as it really is. Again, Toha is a small child and she's not really familiar with the ways of the world yet. So she gives Toha these instructions like, please don't call me madame. And she tries to dress her in a way where it looks like they're part of the same family. People's reaction when they realize that Toha is Layla's child maid is disgust. However, they stop short of calling the police. And you sense there's a reluctance in society to turn people in who appear wealthy or well off. I think the film offers an excellent commentary on how wealth can mask deeply flawed beliefs as well as ill intention. What's jarring about Toha's situation is that she lives with women. There's not a man in sight. And so you would think these women would have more empathy for this child or be more outraged at the idea. Instead, their priority is to preserve their lifestyle and this image of wealth that they have, even if it comes at the expense of a small girl. The film takes its time unpacking Toha's world, not just by following her employers, but also Toha's family as well. And the pacing really does reflect that, like the mind of a child. And so we're slowly learning the world with her, and that just makes you feel even worse. I thought seeing where Toha was from was the best part of the film and actually gave it such a degree of depth. Toha comes from a hardworking but poor background, and they are just struggling to make ends meet. In a very short time, the film does an extraordinary job of unpacking Toha's relationship to her family and her desire to be part of this new family. Once Toha is done shopping for the birthday party, she's essentially kicked out back to her family home. And so the second half of the film really revolves around Toha trying to make her way back to this party. And the film does an excellent job of building up anticipation to this party because you don't know what's going to happen. The birthday party is a space for Layla and her family to continue their facade, and this facade is threatened if Toha shows up. And I had such anxiety waiting for this party. You're cringing because you know something bad is going to happen. You just don't know how it's going to happen. And would these other rich people shame Toha for being there and exposing this family? Or would they shame the birthday girl for having a child maid in the home? Through Toha's character, the film powerfully illustrates how classism fuels cultural erasure and how this erasure in turn dehumanizes children like Toha, who are stuck at the very bottom of society. And I honestly cannot say enough about this film. I hope it makes its way to the Oscar. I hope it gets a foreign film nomination, because it is just, there are parts of this film that had me laughing, crying, and I could feel the dread, because this is a cruel reality, and the movie takes place in modern day times. Like, this is a story that could be happening right now, and it doesn't feel that far-fetched, which makes the movie even more impactful. I thought the contrast between Layla, her grandmother, and Nellie was so well done. Their performances spoke to how a lot of these fossilized ideas are slowly being shamed out of society, and I thought Layla, Nellie's mother, gave a really wonderful performance, because she's stuck between two generations. She's the only one in that home that can really understand how horrible the situation is, or how unethical the situation is. And she tries her best to make up for it by treating Toha well, or promising to teach her how to read. But it doesn't really change the fact that you're exploiting a young girl to maintain appearances. And I thought her performance was really excellent, because I could see her struggling with this decision, whereas her mother was unfazed by it, because she comes from a generation where I guess slavery was normal. Like, I don't know what was wrong with her grandmother. I thought Toha's performance was magnificent, especially for a child actor. I mean, I was totally glued to the screen. She had me the entire time. She felt like a seasoned actor. Like, this was not an amateur performance. We witness her slowly awakening to the realities of her world, her place in it, and just how hard she's going to have to work to break free. And so overall, I cannot recommend this movie enough. I think it deserves all the buzz. I hope it does very well in every film festival. And until next time.